All right, we're ready to start. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. Excuse me, this is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'll also be providing you with an SAP reset date, which is
September the 24th.
Okay, September 24th. Also, I want to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I want to remind the defendants that you do have certain constitutional rights. You have a right to have counsel or representation with you at this juncture in your case, and you should know who your attorneys are by now. Also, defendants, you have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here, they're listening. So again, follow the advice of your attorney. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Position number 1, Mr. Baker.
All right. PD's office, has everybody been interviewed? Do we need a interpreter? Do we have all those housekeeping things taken care of? Because we do have a large calendar.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, this is Attorney Alvin Kendall. If that's Bazenzi Baker Jr., that's my client.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, the first case.
Yes.
I believe it is. Is this Baker Jr.?
Yes, ma'am. That's my client, Alvin Kendall, on behalf of Mr. Baker.
All right. Have you, Mr. Kendall? Hold on 1 second and we'll start with you. This is case number 20. I'm sorry?
There are 2 Bakers on the calendar.
One is Brockton Baker and the other is Berzini. And I believe he stated he was representing Berzini. Is that right, Mr. Kendall?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. 24 CR 006405C. For Berzini Baker, he is charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 2nd count of terroristic threats. And what do we have pre-trial?
Second arrest. He got an open drug case out of Clayton County from 2023.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at Coleman American Moving Service, Inc., located at 7280 Graham Road in Fairborn, Georgia. The defendant was fired from his job at this location on the day of the incident. He then threatened the employees there by stating that he'd go get his gun and light the building up. This threat was heard by several employees. The defendant then took 2 fire extinguishers and sprayed them inside one of the building offices before leaving the scene. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with the staff at Coleman American Moving Service, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. Mr. Kendall?
Your Honor, we have no problem with that recommendation. I think this incident did happen back in, June or July of 2023. So my client hadn't been back to the location, hadn't been any problem between him and those employees. He was employed at the moving company. He's now a student at Napa Auto Technician Training. He still lives and resides with his mother at 519 Princeton Circle in Palmetto, Georgia. So we would ask the court to go along with the recommendation of the state and letting them have a signature bond on this.
All right. And he's how old? 20, 21, 22?
He's 21, Your Honor.
21, sorry.
I think that's correct.
Level 2.
Okay. All right, I will grant a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial, 2,000 on each of the charges. And that signature bond will be through pretrial level 2. And I'm going to order him to take 1 week of anger management or anger awareness courses through pretrial services. And he is to stay away from is it Coleman American Movers?
Yes,
That's
Your Honor.
correct, Your Honor.
Okay, stay away from that location. Have no further contact with the employees at that moving company. And I guess that is it for now. So that would be
Right,
the
Judge.
report. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's the only case I have on the calendar, ma'am. Be excused.
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We're gonna do, Mr. Frank Wickstead. He's the add-on.
Oh, I didn't have an add-on
Yeah,
calendar.
I don't either. And I don't have no history.
We didn't get an add-on calendar.
Judge, this is my case. I'm Michael Escal on his behalf.
Hold on 1 second, Mr. O'Scala. We don't,
We had an email that that they were working on producing it, but that was just a couple of minutes ago, I think. So
And I'm ready, Your Honor. I have this gentleman's history.
It's just been sent.
all right, call it
The
for me,
add-on calendar just came out. Do you need me to send it to you?
please, ma'am.
Okay.
Miss Bridgewater, you want to call it?
Oh.
Do you have it?
Miss Champion, well.
Oh,
I can see
Miss
it.
Champion, just call it for me since it's only one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's Frank Anthony Wickstad, case number 24CR006420C, charged with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of battery, family violence.
Okay. Spell that last name for me.
It's WICKSTEAD.
EAD. Okay. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, state and give the history for me.
A review of this gentleman's GCIC just shows an arrest in 1989, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is an incident that occurred in August, on the 11th of August at about 5 p.m. The victim in this case is Ashley Wickstead, who's the ex-wife of the defendant. She initially made a report in the jurisdiction where she lives and was told she needed to relocate and make a report in the jurisdiction where the incident occurred, which is the defendant's home. So she did that. The report indicates that at the defendant's home, that's 4060 Statewood Road Northeast, the victim came with their son that they share to pick up some school supplies and his passport, the child's passport. Her son went into the location and came back out with his school supplies, but not the passport. The victim went to the front door. She reported that her stepson allowed her to come in. When the defendant saw her inside, he became enraged and started yelling for her to leave. He then grabbed her by the arms and shoved her to the door. She hit the interior door jamb, basically. And then he used his left hand, I believe, to grab her neck and told her he was going to kill her. Her glasses fell off. They were broken when they fell off. When the defendant's current wife approached in the driveway, arrived at the location, she actually intervened and asked her husband, the defendant, to stop the assault. His new wife gave the victim the passport for the child that she and Mr. Wickstead share. She was asked about the level of pressure put on her neck. This was not a strangulation. There was visible bruising to her left arm from being grabbed and a red mark seen on her neck as well. The defendant, I believe, provided some ring camera footage that shows snippets of people coming and going and maybe some audio. But ultimately, this was an incident that occurred inside the location, so there's no ring camera footage of that. There are multiple people on scene, Your Honor. The victim was adamant that no one else witnessed this, although clearly a stepson, the new wife, and her child had some involvement and probably knew what was going on. We've not moved forward with any charges as it relates to that. I believe Mrs. Ashley Wickstead is on the line. If you would sound for her, we've been in touch with her today. She reports that they need to have some contact because they go to the same school functions and are going to be around each other to support their child. She said nothing like this has happened before, but she did corroborate the information in our police reports. So maybe communication through a third party and no violence, Your Honor. We'd requested a day or two of anger management, and based on the history in this case, Your Honor, SOB through pretrial seems appropriate. If you could sound for the victim, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Ashley Wickstead, do you wish to address the court today? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
All right. And Attorney LaScala.
Judge, good afternoon. All I can say is
Good
thank
afternoon.
God we've got some video for this. This is about as crazy a case as I've handled. We provided
Okay.
all this to the detective. I can't believe we're the party that's charged. She is the ex-wife. The video clearly shows her son actually trying to prevent her from entering. So at this point, she's a trespasser. She's actually committed a felony burglary at this point, which, as the Castle Doctrine, he is allowed to protect his home. With that being said, there's never been an issue. He is a Georgia Tech graduate. He has a successful business. The detective reached out to me. I provided everything to him. He turned himself in. And so here we are. We're not asking for pretrial. I would ask for a reasonable bond of $1,000, which we can pay in cash or whatever other good surety you would like. There was no issue of anger management or anything else that's needed, Your Honor.
All right. And how old is Mr. Wickstead?
It's 53.
Well, you know, sometimes I can't get into the middle of some of this at this level. And I do hear what you're saying. A little alarmed at how it maybe all came out in the wash a little bit there. I will give him a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Your Honor, with all due respect, is it possible to make a good bond instead of pretrial? Because he travels and we do not want him to be on pretrial.
Right. Usually when they're on pretrial, they call in.
If Your Honor would give me the choice, I would prefer to make a good bond.
Okay. All right. You want to make a good bond? We'll do it as a so if I have it as a $6,000 good bond, 3,000 on each. So let's do that. With the $6,000 good bond, 3,000 on each. No further violent contact with this victim. Did I hear that from the state? And
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, no further violent contact. They have this child. I don't know how old the child is.
15.
15. Okay. And I would say, you know, third parties, but if they have no further violent contact and they can maneuver, you know, the child is big enough at 15, they can maneuver visitation if that's what they're doing without any violent contact. I don't know that I would order a third party to have to intervene. Seems like they may or may not need that. What's the state's thought?
The information I was given from the victim in this case, Your Honor, is that Mr. LaScala communicated to her that they would have to communicate through him.
I never had any communication with this woman before in my life.
No.
Than a civil attorney related to the divorce.
They're already divorced and he's remarried, correct?
Maybe we
Correct.
can ask Mrs. Wickstead or the defendant about what the communication is at this point. My notes say that Mrs. Wickstead was told
Her
they
name
can only
is,
communicate through an attorney.
Ms.
Yes.
Wickstead, I asked if you wanted to speak. If you want to speak, I have to swear you in. You said you
Oh,
did not. Have you
I'm
changed your
so
mind?
sorry.
Do you want to address the court? You have to turn on your video and you have to be sworn in. All right. Do you wish to address the court briefly? I'm not going to get into your divorce or custody or visitation.
understand.
This is not family court.
I understand.
Do you wish to address the court?
Yes,
Okay, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
yes, I do.
All right, put your hand down. You were trying to answer one question for me. And what was that?
They were asking about who the attorney was, and I
No,
don't
I
know
don't want to
who.
know who the attorney is. I just want to know about your communication and
Our
how you think this-
communication, since this has happened, has been through somebody named Sarah McCormick. So that's who we've been communicating through,
And who is she?
an attorney that Frank hired.
And has that been working? Are you comfortable with that?
I'm fine with that. I'm
You don't
only
know anything
concerned about
that, Mr.
emergencies.
LaScala? Right, Mr. LaScala, you're not aware of this attorney or who they've been communicating with?
There's family lawyers involved, Judge. It's obviously one of the family lawyers. I don't have anything to do with that capacity.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I can make it a part of the order if you need to have it. I don't know what, I don't want to get involved in the family law side of it, definitely, but I do want to make sure that you're going to be safe and that there won't be any further incidents.
It would no violent contact is fine with the defense. I don't see why the state would have an issue with that, but it's up to them.
That's
Right.
fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, you all are fine. I'm just gonna put no further violent contact. You all work out the other details so that we don't end up back here again. And I just think that you all should be able to handle things without any more incidents or any more violence. So I'm just going to order that no further violent contact. And leave it there. I don't think there's anything else, State or Mr. LaScala, that I need to order. Is that correct?
Thank
No,
you, Your
Judge,
Honor.
just with the SAP on the 24th, if he's already been accused, that's going to go to the trial judge. We still are
Correct.
needed at that. Is there an SAP that we need to attend?
No, if he's out and fine, it'll just go to the division
Okay.
judge. Yeah,
All right.
that's
Is there any
correct.
chance you could let me know which division that's in?
Don't think we know yet, do we?
Judge
ASG.
Dixon.
Oh, it's
Okay.
Judge Dixon? Okay,
Yes.
Judge Dixon. Gotcha.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wickstead.
Thank you.
All right.
Position number 2, Brock Baker.
Okay. This is 24 CR 006419A, Brockton Baker, charged with 2 counts of simple battery family violence, pretrial.
Third arrest. 2023, 2 counts of obstruction, felony, interference with government property, unlawful conduct during 911 call. That's 23 SC 188577.
All
That's
right,
all.
State. Okay, State.
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Ariana Young Baker, who is the defendant's sister, and the parties also used to live in the same residence. The defendant is accused of striking his sister in the face and throwing her to the ground, causing pain to her rib cage. Mr. Adam Tapp called officers after he heard and witnessed the altercation between the parties. The parties had been in a verbal dispute before the defendant attacked the victim. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Young Baker, who confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her. She states this is a constant occurrence with the defendant, and he was also violent with her on August 12th and August 31st. However, she did not file a police report because she was afraid. Or rather, she didn't report it to the police because she was afraid. She states the defendant has also been harassing her via text messages. And he was doing that up until the point that he was arrested. She has since moved out of state, and she states that she wants no contact with the defendant. The state's recommendation is going to be $1,000 surety bond on each count of simple battery, no further contact with this victim, anger awareness, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for Miss Ariana Baker.
It's Ariana Baker. And state, I forgot to say no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond for the last case, so I know that Miss Bridgewater put that in there for me. And I
Your
know
Honor,
Mr. LaScala is familiar with that.
I automatically put it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, go forward. Mr. McLean, is this your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right,
Your Honor, he disagrees with the facts as stated. He would like to ask the court to consider a signature bond. His address is local, his phone number is local, plenty of relatives and friends here, local contacts and community contacts. There shouldn't be any reason why he would be late for court, and he would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
I'm going to, there's a little history there, just order the low surety, $2,000 surety bond, 1,000 on each case. No further contact with Ariana Baker. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. So that should do it.
Oh, and Your Honor asked earlier about people needing to be seen. There was a guy named Greer who was in Alpharetta, and right as we were making the phone call to interview him over the phone, they said he just left the Alpharetta jail on the way to Rice Street. So we will need to speak with him. Now, there was also a inquiry on whether he would be interested in mental health services. So that might be a diversion. But I do need to meet Mr. Greer.
Mr. McLean, I think I wrote that came from Miss Melnick. I don't know anything about him, but anyway, I just want to pass that along. Okay.
Hasn't been off.
Deputies, has position 9, Mr. Greer, made it to the jail yet?
Yes, he's here.
Okay. So you
We
all
just need
need to call and interview?
or break out, either one.
Can we do position number 19 before you do the breakout? Who's your client?
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Absolutely.
All right, 19. All right, this is,
Your Honor, before we proceed, is the only thing with the special conditions with this case is just a no further contact?
right. I don't think there was a stay away, right,
No,
State?
there isn't a stay away, and of course, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol.
Correct. Is that
Is it
correct?
Defendant Baker, position 2?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no stay away.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. This is 24 CR 006415D. Brett Williams, charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Retrial.
Third arrest, 2024 obstruction, battery, trespass. Let's open out of Cherokee County. Also has an open obstruction loading problem. 2019 trespass, violation of family violence order conviction.
And Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident that occurred in Roswell on the 29th of July at 3000 Mansell Road. That is a hotel. It's the Country Inn and Suites. At about 2 p.m. on that day, police responded and met with the victim. Her name is Stacy Sanders. She reported that she and the defendant had come to the location. She'd rented the room. They stayed together. They had had an argument the night before, and the defendant had left. He then returned, and she allowed him to come in. It looks like there was some back and forth. She reported that there had been an assault, but she also had injuries on her knuckles, so it looks like it had been a mutual altercation. The victim, Mrs. Sanders, reported that when the defendant left the location, he took her wallet and her phone charger. She then showed police text messages and a photograph that the defendant had sent to her showing her wallet and phone charger in his possession and calling her names. So this is one count of theft by taking, Your Honor. I show he's already got a bond on this case. We have been in touch with the victim. She reports they're in a relationship and is recanting her initial statement. She's actually claiming that she called the police that day and said that her items had been found and that she made a mistake and her items were actually in her own belongings. I'm not sure how that makes any sense if she showed police pictures and messages from the defendant admitting that he took her items. So this is where we are. We'd ask for no violent contact, Your Honor, and $1,000 surety, seeing as he's got an open obstruction and battery in Cherokee County from August, just a month ago. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, the existing bond is a 1,000 surety or?
It's 3,000, Your Honor.
Oh, 3. Okay,
Mhm.
and so you're requesting to lower it to 1.
That makes sense to me based on the information I'm seeing. I
Okay.
need good sound for Mrs. Sanders just to give her an opportunity to be heard if she's here. Thank you.
All right, Stacy Sanders. Stacy Sanders. Don't think she's on. Go ahead, PD McLean.
Your Honor, certainly my client would be served, and we think that even society would be served sufficiently by a signature bond because of the recanting, because she told the police she did not hit him and she had those knuckles anyway, and all the silliness going on in the case. I'm not saying there's not a case, and certainly there will be a trial if necessary, but I think a signature bond might be sufficient.
What, does he work or anything? I don't know anything about the defendant, it seems.
He does seasonal work, Your Honor. So seasonal work sounds like outdoor work. He has a sufficient income where he will not qualify for the public defender after today's hearing. However, that seasonal work sounds like it's outdoors.
Where is he from?
Coming. Almost in Fulton County, but not quite.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to give him a $1,000 surety bond. No further violent contact.
Hello, this is Stacy Sanders. I am here, and I'm sorry I'm having problems with my phone, but I wanted to say that.
Hold on. You cannot speak unless I can see you, so you need to turn on your.
I don't know how to do it. I can't get it to work, ma'am.
Then I won't be able to talk to you because I don't know who you are.
Elaine, can you come look at this? I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to fix it. Can you see me or no?
No.
Okay. I've been watching the whole session, but yeah. I don't know, but that guy that was sitting next to him, he was doing some funny stuff on the stand. I just want to bring it to your attention, the one that was on the stand before him. I don't know what was going on back there in the pew, but it was a little weird.
Are you wanting, until you can turn on your camera, I'm not going to talk to you and I'm ready to move on to the next case, unless you can get together with your video. All right, let's go ahead. Sorry, can you go ahead and mute yourself? Ms. Sanders, I cannot continue to hold. I'm going to order that $1,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim. I'm going to order that there's no guns, drugs, unprescribed medication, alcohol, weapons while on bond. And that's all I'll order at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Position number 10, Mr. Irving. Mr. McLean, go ahead and answer your phone, please.
I'm going to get out of Zoom, Your Honor, to answer. Well, If it's going to be by phone call, I'm gonna call my desk at 25215. Otherwise, I'll
All right, this is 24 CR 006412G. Randall Irvin, charged with 1 count of theft by taking.
7 total. 2024 burglary. It's 24 PI 004 758. Also has an open theft by taking, identity theft fraud. 23 SC 190268. Got an open burglary, theft of services out of the cab, open shoplifting out of Gwinnett. And he should have gone to felony earlier.
He did.
Thank you.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He received a $10,000 of felony court.
Okay. All right,
Yes,
stay.
Your Honor. The defendant in this case is accused of stealing Rylan Choppa's electric scooter from the bike rack located at 1020 Piedmont Avenue, Atlanta. There is video footage and still photos of the defendant stealing the electric scooter. The state's recommendation, based on his history and numerous open cases, is $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Rylan Choppa.
Rylan Choppa. Rylan Choppa. All right. Go ahead. This case is this PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. Did I hear he got a 10,000 surety in felony court?
Yeah.
Okay. I think given that he's got bigger fish to fry, we would be seeking a signature bond since he has 10,000 bond already. Given his income, he's probably not going anywhere. But certainly, if we would not strenuously object to a $1,000 surety bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from, it's at 1230 Piedmont Avenue. No further contact with the victim, Rylan Choppa. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should do it.
Blunt, number 8 bonded out, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
bonded out. Next
Okay.
is position number 3, Ray.
Well,
This is 24 CR 006406C, Jesse Bray, charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting, free trial.
19. 2024 possession of marijuana, NOLO. Got open cases for disorderly conduct, deposit of solid waste on street, breach of peace. 2023 probation, 2023 shoplifting conviction, 2019 and 2020 probation, 2014 armed robbery, an obstruction conviction, 2010 obstruction conviction. He might already be off of the armed robbery. It's supposed to time out on the 26th of this month, though, based on the time. But he could already be off probation. I'm not sure.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at the City Trends located at 3050 MLK Junior Drive, Southwest Atlanta. The defendant is accused of stealing a can of soda from the location. The theft was caught on the store's surveillance camera. The state's recommendation is going to be a signature bond. Stay away from the incident location and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. PD Cook, you have any
No objection.
objection to a signature bond? Okay.
No objection.
All right. I'm going to order a $500 signature bond. And I'm going to order stay away from 3050 MLK City Trends.
Let's do the jail, right?
I'm sorry, through the jail, yeah. And I'm going to order no further contact with the employees there. And stay away. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That's it.
Thank you.
Position number 4, Mr. Brown.
Okay. This is 24 CR 006409J, Daniel Brown, charged with 1 count of giving false name or address, and then driving while license suspended or revoked. Pre-trial.
30. 2006, 2008, suspended license conviction. 2018, suspended license no low. 2024, probation. That's it.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers were conducting a traffic stop due to the defendant failing to stop at a stop sign. When they asked him for his identifying information, he gave the fake names of James Williams and then the fake name of Gregory Brown. He also provided 2 fake birth dates, one being February 19th, 1966, and the other being November 12th, 1962. The defendant was driving a vehicle belonging to his friend, Dexter Flowers, because Mr. Flowers wasn't feeling well, but the defendant's license had been suspended since January of 2019. The state's recommendation is going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, absolutely no driving without a valid license, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
PD Cook.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. What level?
I mean, it can go through the jail. It's just suspended driving. I mean, it's up to you though, but I
Yeah.
recommend jail. It's driving.
Okay. Right. All right. I will order $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 1,000 on each. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That's it.
Have a seat on this third one. Next, we can go to position number 5, Mr. Chapman.
Okay.
Brown's position 4 was SOB pretrial level.
Jail.
Okay.
This is 24 CR 006417B, DeAndre Chapman, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
15, 2023 probation, 2023 parole violation, 2022 probation, 2022 FTA, 2020 ag assault, terrorist threats, fleeing an officer, theft by receiving, possession of a firearm during a commission, cruelty to children. Those charges were convictions. On probation for those, yeah, he got 15 years sentence in 2021 for those.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at the incident location 1080 West Peachtree Street Northwest in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Sharitha Shepard, who was living with the defendant. The defendant is accused of pinning the victim down on the bed and biting her, which caused swelling to her face. The victim's daughter advised officers that she heard her mother screaming and went to the bedroom door and began banging on the door. The defendant then left the location. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Shepard, who states that her and the defendant are no longer in a relationship and they share no children. She states the defendant was high on drugs and drinking at the time of this incident, and that the defendant was demanding that she have sex with him, but she refused. The defendant then got on top of her and began holding her down with his body, with his knees. The defendant was trying to make the victim have sex with him, despite the fact that she had already refused. He held her down for about 45 minutes to an hour. The victim states this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her, and this is not the first time police have been called, but this is the first time he has been arrested for that violence. She does not want any contact with him, wants him to stay away from the residence. She stated that he has no belongings at her residence that he needs to retrieve, and he has no reason to return. We are working on potentially getting this upgraded to a felony. The state's recommendation, based on the defendant's history and the concerning facts of this case, is a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, an FVIP or anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Miss Sharitha Shepherd.
All right, Ms. Sharitha Shepherd. Ms. Shepherd. All right, go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, my client is 37 years old. He's lived in the area 8 years. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. We have no objection to the conditions, except we would object to an FVIP. The stay away and no further contact of any kind is not objectionable to us. We would be seeking a signature bond through pretrial.
All right. I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 1080 West Peachtree Street Northwest. No further contact with the victim, Sharitha Shepherd. No drugs, alcohol, unprescribed medication, weapons or guns while on bond. That's it. Next.
Your Honor, he wants to ask you a question.
Excuse me, how you doing? Is there any way you can give me a signature bond, because I don't have nobody to come get me. I don't have no family. So do you mind, can you find in your heart to give me a signature bond, please?
With 15 priors, 15 prior arrests. And I'm concerned about the allegations. And if you don't have anybody, I mean, you don't have ample contacts out, I know you're going to come back to court. So those are the things that I look at.
Always come back to court. Come on, let's go. Come on.
All right, I'm going to leave it at the 5,000 surety.
Number 6, Clark.
All right, this is 24 CR 006410D, Tavius Clark, 1 count of battery family violence. Pre-trial.
12. 2018, possession of marijuana. Possession of drug-related objects. 2017, probation. 2012, sale of marijuana. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. Arrest. That's it.
State.
Yes, Your Honor, the incident occurred August 20th, 2024. The victim in this case is Charteray Smith, who lived in the same residence as the defendant. Ms. Smith told officers that her and the defendant were running errands and got into an argument. The defendant then pulled her out of the car and bit her hand, causing lacerations to her hand. The victim walked home and then proceeded to call the police. Our office has spoken with Ms. Smith, who states her and the defendant are no longer in a relationship and they no longer live together. She did confirm the events in the warrant and stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her and not the first time police have been called, but it is the first time that he has been arrested. She states the defendant has always been threatening towards her, and that he did reach out to her after this incident and apologized, but then called her from jail and told her that if she was the one who did this to him, that he was never going to talk to her again. Our office did have an opportunity to listen to that jail call. there is a possibility this was some sort of veiled threat towards the victim based on the history that they have together and the fact that he's calling her from jail. So obviously he knows we're going to be listening to those calls, so he wouldn't make a direct threat. She states that she is afraid of the defendant and what he will do when he gets out. She wants no contact and wants him to stay away from her new residence. I'm not sure if the defendant is aware of what that residence is, so I won't state it at this moment. The state's recommendation is a $3,500 surety bond, no further contact with this victim, stay away from the victim's residence. There is a concern that he will intimidate this victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and some anger awareness. I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Charteray Smith.
Okay, Charteray Smith. Charteray Smith.
Yes, this is she.
Do you wish to, who? Does it say Keisha?
Yes, that's Keisha. I'm sorry. But yeah, this
Okay.
is me.
All right, do you wish to, hold
I'm
on,
not threatened.
hold on. Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no? Hello? Can't hear,
Yes.
do you? If you do, I need to swear you in first.
Can you
Raise your
hear me?
right. I'm sorry?
Is my right hand?
You have a bad, I think you have a bad connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do have a bad signal. I can hear you, but you might not be able to hear me.
It was going in and out. Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no?
Yes.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the
Yes.
testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this because you're in and out and I'm getting every other word or every other movement. Let's try it and see. Are you in fear of Mr. Chapman?
Okay.
Are you
No.
in fear? Okay, do you want to have any further contact with Mr. Chapman?
No. Clark,
Okay.
but no.
I'm sorry?
This is
No.
petition number
Can you
6.
hear me?
This is number 5. Is
Number
this 5 or 6?
No,
Number
yes,
Should be.
Number
Tavius
Clark.
Clark, yes.
Oh, I think I said the wrong name, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I said Clark. Yeah.
Oh, Clark. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't catch that because I'm not getting a good connection with you. And did I read the wrong case to begin with? As far as the case number 24
I believe so.
CRZ?
You believe you said like Chapman or
Yes. So let me start over just a little bit. 24 CR 006410D, Tavius Clark. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It is still one count of battery family violence. And you stated that you have no fear of Mr. Clark, but you do or don't want to have any further contact with him. Did she fall off?
I think she fell off, Your Honor.
Her connection was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Did she answer the second question or did I forget that fast?
I heard her say she's not afraid of him, but she doesn't want contact.
Okay. All right.
And I do have her address. He knows where she lives, so I can put that on the record.
Do we need to? Or
I
do
can
you
always just
have it-
send it
do you
directly
have
to
it,
Ms.
Miss? Do you have it, Miss Bridgewater?
No, if you don't mind putting it in the chat, please.
Just
I
chat
will.
it to her, just to be on the safe side. All right. Go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 36 years old and has lived here his entire life. We would object to any anger management or FVIP, although I don't think that was actually mentioned. We would be asking for, but we have also no objections to any stairway. He wants the stairway. This is his ex-girlfriend. And we would be seeking a signature bond to whatever level the court deems appropriate.
All right. I am going to order a $3,500 surety bond. I'm going to order that he stay away from the home, work, or any location where Miss Smith would be. Needs to be 200 yards away from her. No further contact with her. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it. Anything else?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right.
Nothing on.
Number 7, Forrest.
Okay. This is Joseph Forrest, case number 24CR006411E. He's charged with 1 count of theft by taking, 2nd count willful obstruction, a law enforcement officer, 3rd count of loitering prowling. Retrial.
5. 2024 shoplifting Nolo has an open burglary. 23 CP 217964. 2019 ag assault DV criminal damage to property 2nd degree. Possession of a firearm during the commission. Those were dismissed because he got PTI. That's it.
Oh. Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is accused of loitering on the Georgia Tech campus around 11:30 p.m. on the day of the incident. Officers had been advised to be on the lookout for 2 individuals matching the description of the defendant and an individual named Isaiah Polite. When officers attempted to make contact with the individuals, they both fled and hid. The defendant was found and handcuffed, at which time he slipped out of one of the handcuffs and attempted to flee again. The defendant is also accused of stealing an electric scooter belonging to a Mr. Jash Parek from the bike rack at the Georgia Tech campus. Given that the defendant just pled guilty to a shoplifting and has an open case, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond on the theft by taking and a $500 surety bond on the loitering and willful obstruction. Stay away from all Georgia Tech campus. No further contact with Jash Parek. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Jash Parek.
Jash Parek. Jash Parek. All right, PD Cook.
Yes, sir. We have no objection to the conditions of bond. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. My client is 19, or not, excuse me, he's 22, lived in the area 19 years old, 19 years, I'm sorry, and he has no current employment. He is in Lincoln Tech, studying electrical, I believe it, automotive training.
Say that again, Mr. Cook. He's in school where?
It's Lincoln Tech. I believe that's out of maybe Cherokee County. He's thinking about transferring to Atlanta Tech, but he's studying electrical systems transmission.
Okay. I heard Tech and I thought not Georgia Tech, but you're talking about Lincoln Tech or Atlanta Tech. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a student at Georgia Tech.
No, he is not.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond. It's $1,000 on the theft by taking, $500 on each of the other 2 charges for a total of $2,000. I'm going to order stay away from all of Georgia Tech campus. It's a vast, big area, but don't even go anywhere near anything that says Georgia Tech. Stay away from that campus, as big as wide as it is in downtown Atlanta. No further contact with the victim, Jash Parek. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Okay.
Number 11, Jackson.
You said 11?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is 24 CR 006403A. It's Jair Jackson, charged with 1 count of battery, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2013 DUI.
Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident that occurred January of 2023, actually. So there's been a warrant out for this defendant's arrest for some time now. Police were called to 2323 Piedmont Road Northeast at about 5 p.m. on the 22nd of January. They met with the victim, whose name is Charlie Mango. He reported that he went to the location, which is where the defendant lives, or near there, because they'd met on an app and agreed to hang out. He was given instructions about where to go to. He was given the gate code to the location. And he says when he got up to the 5th floor, he saw the defendant and they had a brief exchange, and the victim said he changed his mind and he wasn't interested in hanging out anymore. He turned around and left. The defendant chased him out into the street. That's captured on surveillance. Continued to follow him for a period of time, and then approached the victim and punched him in the face. He was seen to have a bloody mouth and a laceration on his lip, and swelling to his lips. Photographs of that were taken. Police spoke to the leasing agent at the location, and she confirmed that the gate code that the defendant had given the victim connected back to his apartment number and identified him with his name and information. Police tried to knock and talk at the location, and the defendant didn't answer the door. So they got a warrant, and he was just picked up, Your Honor. He's got a minimal history. We have been in contact with Mr. Mango today. He reports there's been no communication since this incident happened. We're asking for a $2,000 SOB3 pretrial, Your Honor, and an order that there be no contact with the victim in this case, Mr. Mango. Thank you.
All right.
No objection, Your Honor.
Pretrial.
I'm sorry.
Huh? Oh, no.
You need
Pretrial.
me? I'm here.
Yeah. What level?
1 is fine.
Okay. All right. I will order $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Level 1. Stay away from the 2323 Piedmont Road.
Your Honor, that's the defendant's address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're not asking
Please.
for a stay away, just no contact.
Okay. No further contact with the victim, Charlie Mango. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that's it, I believe.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I believe Mr. Mango was on the Zoom. I'm not sure if he's here now.
Mr. Mango.
Call for him. Thank you.
Mr. Mango. No.
Hello.
Mr. Mango.
Hello.
If you're wishing to, your camera's upside down.
I'm sorry.
Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no? Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no?
Is there any reason why I would need to?
It's up to you. You don't have to. I've already given my ruling. It's up to you. You don't have to. I've already given my ruling.
I have no reason to. I don't believe that he is a dangerous
Hold on.
person.
I didn't say that you could
He
speak
apologized
yet.
to me several
Stop,
times.
please. Stop, please. Stop. So if you want to address the court, I'm going to have to swear you in first. So if you want to address the court, I'm going to have to swear you in first.
Okay.
Are you on two devices? Are you on two devices?
No.
So it's recording me,
So
or
it's
there's
recording me, or
playback
there's
of
playback
everything
of
that I say?
everything that I said. There should not be. Let me.
Is everyone else
Is
here?
everyone else here?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Mango,
And Mr. Mango, yes.
raise your right
Raise your
hand.
right hand.
Do you affirm
Do
that
you
the
affirm
testimony
that the
you're
testimony
about to
you're
give is the
about to
truth
give
and
is the
nothing but
truth
the
and nothing
truth
but the
under
truth
penalty
under
of
penalty of
perjury?
perjury? Yes.
What is,
What
are
is,
you in
are
fear,
you in fear,
of Mr.
Mr.
Jackson? Do
Jackson? No.
you want to have any
You want to
further
have any further
contact with them?
contact with them? He can contact me. He has apologized since then.
All right, thank
All
you.
right,
You
thank
can
you. You
mute
can
yourself.
mute yourself.
All right, I'll give the same ruling, $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. And no further violent contact with Charlie Mango. And all the other conditions will remain.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Number 12, Johnson.
Mr. Mango, you're free to go. 24 CR 006414F. Malik Johnson, one count of theft by conversion, pretrial.
My notes for Mr. Johnson indicate he's got one prior arrest. I don't see a disposition, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is a incident that happened on September the 5th at about 7:15 a.m. Police were called to the Family Dollar at 299 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. The loss prevention staff at the location and the owners of the location reported that they had experienced a shortage and did an investigation. At that point, they discovered that the assistant manager, Mr. Johnson, in front of you, had been stealing cash from the business by taking gift cards at the location, scanning them as if he were working with a customer, and then putting that balance onto his Cash App account, or just taking the gift cards. They reviewed surveillance and the transaction history for the register the defendant was working. He was seen before the store was open, operating the register with no customer in front of him, scanning the barcodes on gift cards that he took off the shelf, and then using his phone to scan his Cash App and then add money to that account. It looks like this was done multiple times in September, and that there are likely more instances that are being investigated. But the defendant was detained, and he made admissions to having sticky fingers. And he admitted that he had taken $503.95 worth of money from the Vanilla Direct gift card there and loaded it onto his, or for himself, use it for himself. So this is request from the state for $1,000 SOB through pretrial, Your Honor, given his minimal history, to stay away from the location of the Family Dollar at 299 Joseph E. Lowry and have no contact with the employers there. Thank you.
Okay.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order $1,000 signature bond through. I will order it through the jail. to stay away from 299 Joseph E. Lowry, the Family Dollar. I'm assuming he doesn't work there anymore, so stay away from it.
He got fired.
Okay. No further contact with the employees there. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you.
Good.
Judge, what number was that?
12.
12. What was that total?
1,000 signature bond through the jail. There's only one charge, theft by conversion. Malik Johnson.
Yeah, I just wanted the amount. We said 1,000. Okay.
Number 15, Rockmore.
Rockmore.
Okay. This is 24 CR 0064007Y. Jalen Rockmore, charged with 3 counts of battery, family violence, and 1 count of criminal trespass. Retrial.
Open cases out of Clayton County for simple battery DV, battery against person who's pregnant. That's all.
Is that one arrest or several?
It's one arrest. There's an open case out of Clayton County.
Okay.
That's my case. This is an incident that happened back in May on the 6th. Police were called to the location at 2884 Handy Drive, where they met with the victim in this case. Her name is Tania Sanders. I believe she's joined us on the Zoom. She and the defendant share a child. It's reported that the child was not present at that location for this incident, but it's a young child. The incident location is her grandmother's house, the victim. She reported that he had assaulted her, the defendant had assaulted her, that her cousin at the location, Serenity, was a witness to that and was on scene when police were there as well. Ms. Sanders reported that the night before, the defendant came to her grandmother's house at about 1 a.m. and came inside, welcomed himself inside. She asked him repeatedly to leave the location. He refused. He made himself comfortable on the couch. He stayed until around 2 p.m. the next day. She had continued to ask him to leave. He became upset when she wouldn't walk down the driveway with him. He pushed her to the ground. She was seen to have a swollen knot on the back of her head. He began punching her, and police saw swelling on her face as well as scratch marks, and she had a red spot in her eyeball area, which is a hemorrhage. The victim reported that the defendant works at Five Guys, and she gave his information. She was checked on scene but not transported, and a statement was taken from her cousin Serenity as well, and that statement corroborated what the victim had just reported. This case was reviewed by Detective Muzon Hall with APD, who noted that there was a 2022 arrest for battery family violence out of Clayton County that was now currently a charged case, an accused case in that jurisdiction. We've spoken with Miss Sanders today. She reports that she and the defendant are not in a relationship. They do share a child, and that the incident location was her grandmother's house where she currently lives. She confirmed what happened, the information in the warrants, and said this is not the first time that the defendant has been violent to her. She also reported that the defendant called her from jail, asking her to help him get her out. She's requesting no contact, and the state believes that that's appropriate. We're guessing that the Clayton County case is also against her based on the age of the child. She reports that they share. That is a little boy born April of 2023. But I haven't confirmed that yet. So we're asking for a $2,000 surety, given the fact that he's on bond for a current case. He was just in court in Clayton County on the 3rd of September for that case and pled not guilty. I'm pretty sure that bond order requires him to have no arrests or violations of the law. to stay away from the location, the grandmother's house, and have no contact with this young woman. Again, that address is 2884 Handy Drive. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And if you would sound for Mrs. Sanders once you have a moment. Thank you.
Ms. Sanders.
Hold on, I got to check.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Sanders is from
If
another.
you,
What is it? What you said? Yes.
Ms.
if you wish
Sanders,
to, if you wish to address the court, you need to turn on your camera.
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, Edie McLean.
oh, yes, Your Honor. I was confused about the last name. Let's see. I'm sorry, I just got a message from somebody trying to get into Zoom. Your Honor, in Mr. Rockmore's case, if this is alleged to be past May, thank goodness that apparently there was a hearing this month, and if there was no contact ordered this, then this May 6th thing precedes that. But I'm sure he will obey all court. We have a stable address for him. This is not where he lives, so his address is stable. His phone numbers are stable. He does indeed work at the Five Guys restaurant, and will attend court. We had asked the court to consider the lowest bond possible for him.
All right, I will
I did
order
just
the,
confirm, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I did just confirm with Ms. Sanders, and I'd ask for you to sound for her, or I guess you already did. She doesn't want to make a statement, but she is the victim in the Clayton County case. So it was an arrest in 2022, Mr. McLean, that was accused and is an open case there. He just appeared in court last month. So if there's an order for no contact, it's prior to last month.
I see your
all
point.
right. I'm going to order a $4,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each of the charges. And stay away from that address on Handy Drive. No further contact with the victim, Tania Sanders. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That'll be the order. What?
Your Honor, the victim just sent into the chat that that's actually the defendant's other baby mama. That's the victim in the Clayton County case. I'm so sorry, sir. I'm sure that's troubling. We appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure the record was clear. She initially said yes and then changed her response.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha.
Are we done with?
Yes, it's a $4,000 surety.
Okay, it was position number 9, Mr. Greer.
This is 24 CR 006416Y. 9 counts of theft by taking. Pre-trial.
Second arrest, 2019, false report of a crime. Jail's recommendation.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. These incidents occurred between January 11th, 2024 and February 6th, 2024 at the Journeys Kids located at 2049 North Point Parkway in Alpharetta. The defendant is accused of processing fraudulent merchandise returns and placing the refunds on his own bank card. There were multiple transactions spanning from that time period, and each charge is for a separate transaction. The total amount stolen was $633.46. The state's recommendation is a $200 surety bond on each count, which is a total of a $1,800 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I'm not sure if the defendant has some MH issues. I heard something about him potentially going to MH court, so I certainly wouldn't want him to be released without getting the treatment that is going to help him. So maybe a social worker visit if the court is inclined to give him a signature bond.
Okay.
Your Honor, we feel it would be get a signature bond. A social worker visit could be that would be fine too. They are going to staff it tomorrow at their mental health court, regardless. See if he'd be coming in. He's off Ritalin. Ritalin's not a very heavy duty medication, but when he went to Job Corps.
Hold on. We're talking about his inmate issues in open court?
Well, it's not a big thing. I mean, a lot of people have a little ADHD, Your Honor. So what we were saying is this: he will be staffed there tomorrow, but if he could get on out, he's got 2 jobs that he works. If I might turn that, let's see. Here we go. He works at Clark Atlanta, weekly paycheck. He works for the university. He also works part-time for security weekends. So he's quite industrious. He actually earned a high school diploma when he went to Job Corps, and he has a trade in the culinary art. And there are several dishes he's quite good at. His security job is UPS. He sounds like he's pretty organized. He's not going to miss court, but we'd ask the court to consider.
Well, he has a lot of jobs, but he's accused of stealing from one of them. So obviously, I guess
that was the last January. I'm sure.
Well, it doesn't matter when, but he had, I'm concerned that it happened.
Right.
And so what are we doing with the inmate? Are we recommending him for a BHET? Is that what you're going to do?
Recommending a social worker visit for this part of it, Your Honor. They're going to staff that anyway.
All right, I'm going to order the $1,800 surety bond. 200 per count times 9 is $1,800 surety bond. BHET, stay away from the Journey Kids store in Alpharetta. No further contact with the employees there. Stay away from there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, did you say 1,800 total?
Yes. That would
what
be 200 on each. Isn't
Okay,
it 9?
thank you. Position number 17.
This is 24 CR 006408Y, Baron Tutman, 1 count of battery family violence. Pre-trial.
Third adult arrest. 2023 battery, crude to the third. That was dismissed. On probation for armed robbery. 19 SC 165482. And he has a probation warrant. Probation hold, rather.
Your Honor, that's my case. The 2023 battery family violence that was dismissed is with the same victim as this case. And that case was actually dismissed when we were unable to serve her to come to court. This is an incident that occurred in May on the 23rd. The victim, her name is Jamesha, Jamesha Buford, Buford. Police were called about a physical dispute, and they responded and met with the victim at 181 Graves Street. She reported that the evening before, she'd received a call from a neighbor that somebody was banging on the door of her apartment. That's 1171 Lucille Avenue Southwest, apartment 5. After her neighbor called her, she'd been hanging out across the street. After her neighbor called and said someone was banging on her door, she went across the street and looked around. She didn't see anyone, so she unlocked the door to her apartment and went inside. The defendant popped up and forced his way inside behind her. They share a child. The defendant said something about infidelity or not leaving him and began punching her in the face with his closed fists. She reported that she grabbed her child and was able to leave the location and walk down the street, but he followed her. Eventually, he stopped, and that's when she called 911. She was on hold and decided she would call back. The victim, when speaking to police away from the location, indicated that she would like to be assisted returning to the location because she'd left it unlocked and obviously she'd just been assaulted. Police escorted her back to her apartment. Again, that's 1171 Lucille Avenue Southwest, apartment 5, where police observed that bleach had been poured all over her belongings in her bedroom, as well as Pine Sol cleaner. She was monitored by police and they stood by as she collected belongings and was taken somewhere else. A bruise was seen on her left cheek, and she complained of ear pain as a result of being punched repeatedly. When the police ran the information for the defendant based on her identification of him, he was seen to have that probation warrant that pretrial just told you about. Investigator Gruss followed up and reviewed the history and saw that there was a prior incident, and that's the one I just told the court about from 2023, where our office was unable to move forward at trial because we weren't able to get the victim in court. We've attempted to get in touch with Ms. Buford today. We're asking for a $2,000 surety, Your Honor, and no contact with Mrs. Buford. Stay away from the location if that's her residence, wherever she may live, since that was May, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. This case is from May, but that also means that the probation warrant that this young man has, as well as this warrant, have been sitting out, waiting for him to get picked up for a period of time. That shouldn't be a reflection on the seriousness of this case or whether or not an assault happened. I hear the defense every day say that the age of a case or how long it's been since an incident happened should factor in their favor for a bond, and I'm just not following that logic. So based on the history, based on the prior tampering in this situation with these people and our inability to get her on the phone today, I'm guessing there might be some jail calls that we can listen to. We're asking for that $2,000 surety, Your Honor, and no contact. Thank you.
All right. PD McLean?
Your Honor, what is our SAT date?
It is September 24th.
A bond will be moot for the next 14 days, Your Honor. So we'd, of course, ask the court to consider the lowest bond possible, but he's got a hearing coming up on that probation violation anyway. So he's not going anywhere for the next 14 days at least. But we would ask the court to go ahead and set a bond that would be appropriate on this, and the court to consider a signature. Thank you.
All right. Gonna order a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim. And was there a stay away state?
I'm not sure if that's still her address, but I would request to stay away from wherever she lives or works, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And then we'll do that. Stay away from wherever the victim lives or work. No further contact. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it.
Position number 18, political.
All right. 24 CR 006418F, Dimitri Whitaker, charged with 2 counts of simple battery.
29 total. 2019 obstruction, 2015 probation, 2015 bail jumping conviction, 2013 battery conviction and has a current bench warrant.
All right.
Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident. There are actually two incidences. Report made on September the 5th of this year, and then a secondary report made on September the 10th. Police were called to the location, which is 2400 Campbellton Road. It's the Apple Tree Townhouse Complex. On the scene on the 5th of September at about 1:25 a.m., dispatch reported to the officers responding that they heard a female voice and a dispute over the line and screaming. On scene, the victim, her name is Javon Bailey, was outside, and she reported that the defendant, who she shares children with and lives with, was walking with another woman behind the apartment building. This is 1 a.m. She followed them and confronted him, and that's when he grabbed her by the neck with his left hand, and she said that he choked her. She reported that her airway was restricted, but she didn't lose consciousness. She grabbed the defendant by his dreads and he let go. She said the woman he was walking with actually called the police and gave her the phone so she could talk to dispatch, and that's when the defendant fled. He was no longer on scene when police arrived, and he couldn't be located. She didn't have any visible injuries, so that charge of simple battery for grabbing her from September the 5th is count 1 in this case. Count 2 is the second call on September the 10th, again at about 1:30 a.m. to the same location off Campbellton Road. One report lists their apartment as L1. The other report lists their apartment as Y1. I'm not sure which one it is. It's 2328 Campbellton Road Southwest specifically. Oh, looks like it's Y based on the defendant's motions. So police responded again to a domestic at about 1:30 in the morning. The victim reported that she had seen him making out with a lady in the parking lot, and she went outside and saw and was going back inside when he saw her, and he ran after her and pushed her. The defendant barricaded himself inside the apartment, and so he was in there with their 3 children when police called. She reports that this is not the first violence. When she's talking to police and makes reference to the incident that had just happened on the 5th, police make entry into the apartment, and the defendant's hiding in the closet.
Guys, guess what? Let's go back to the secret base, and I have a plan.
Okay. So the defendant was arrested on this incident for the 10th. We've spoken with the victim in this case, Your Honor, Mrs. Bailey. She is recanting and says that she tried to fight the lady on the scene. We've also reviewed some of the jail calls today between these 2 individuals, and it goes from happiness and let's work on this together to the defendant threatening the victim by saying he'll call DFACS on her and that she'll never see her kids again. Basically, the victim on jail calls tells the defendant she'll help him get out, but he needs to stop playing with these other women. He begs her to come help him, apologizes, and basically makes some admissions about this incident. Based on that information, Your Honor, we'd ask for a $2,000 surety bond. You just heard that he's got active warrants. He's got a conviction for bail jumping. That is a risk for the purposes of the Aiella factors. We'd ask for no contact, Your Honor, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to stay away from the location, apartment LY at that Campbellton Road address, 2328 Campbellton Road Southwest. And if Miss Bailey is on the Zoom, if you'd sound for her. Thank you.
All right, Javon Bailey. Javon Bailey.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no? Can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to unmute it and turn my camera on.
Okay. You're unmuted, but your camera's not on.
Unmute. I'm trying to, I don't, can
Okay,
you see
I
me
think
now?
you're here now.
Okay.
Yes, I was gonna tell you to put on a top, but you've got a sleeping baby on you. You
I'm
need to be
sorry.
covered, and I guess the baby can't hear us. There you go. That'll help me a little bit. All right, got your hands full, I understand. Okay, and normally we tell people to take things off of their head, but I'm gonna be a little lenient today, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, and so raise your right hand for me, if you can. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to have any further contact with Mr. Whitaker?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, and are you in fear of Mr. Whitaker?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Right, and you all share the child you're holding, maybe?
Yes, ma'am, and 2 others. I have 6 kids in total, but 3 is
Okay.
biologically his.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Any questions by the state or PD?
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Briefly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ma'am, when you spoke with the defendant at the jail today, did you guys talk about coming to court and helping him get out of jail?
No, when I spoke with him, I was going to, when I spoke to someone else earlier today and I let them know that the first incident you were saying when they said that I said he choked me and I lost airway, I let them know that on the house, excuse me. I let them know that it was a false report or whatever.
Right.
And
So the question I'm asking you is not
yes,
whether or not
he told me to, I told him I was
Okay.
coming to court today to let everybody know, but of course I can't make it there. So I came to the Zoom.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you again, when you guys discussed these cases and the violence, did you tell the defendant that he needed to leave them hoes alone?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Right. And both of these incidences are related to the defendant hanging out with some other women in the parking lot or behind the buildings there.
Yes.
And in these calls, the defendant and you discuss his charges, right?
Yes.
And he threatened to call DFAX on you and said that you'd never see your kids again. Is that what happened today too?
Your Honor,
No,
objection.
he didn't. No, he didn't say that today. No.
Excuse me, Mr. McLean.
Go ahead. What was your objection, Mr. McLean?
I'm going to object. She's asking her what he said. And
Your
I
client's
would-
here. He can talk too,
Cross-examine
sir.
about it. I was just getting ready to say, objections over, he's here to talk about it. We can technically, I guess, ask him about it, but
I'll send over the
I
jail
understand
calls
what
for
you're
you.
saying.
Okay.
She's just asking her about her statements on the recorded jail call.
Go
ahead.
Please don't ever get to read those transcripts. That would be worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't have any other questions.
Do you have any cross-examination questions, Mr. McLean?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right. You can go ahead and mute yourself, Ms. Bailey, and I'll listen to his attorney and then give a ruling, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor,
McLean?
the state has proposed a certain surety bond. We would ask the court to double the amount, but to make it a signature bond because he has a stable address. He won't miss court. He's got 2 stable phone numbers checked on. He's local, and for those reasons, he is sure to come to court.
All right, I'm going to deny that request with a bail jumping and bench warrant. I don't believe that's even in the consideration, but I will order the $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 on each charge. I'm going to order that Mr. Whitaker, per the state's request, to stay away from the location of 2328 apartment LY. Is that it, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I think that the state requests no further contact with Ms. Bailey and no further violent contact.
We'd request no contact, Your Honor.
All right, no further contact with Ms. Bailey. Ms. Bailey, you need to understand, you're not supposed to have contact with them. If there's any visitation or anything allowed with the kids, it must be facilitated by a third party. Right now, you're under bond restrictions to have no contact with him. He is to stay 200 yards away from you and not to call you, no texts, no phone calls, no emails, or no messages from other third parties right now. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be at 3,000 surety.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Is that it, deputies, or we have one? Well, let's see. We have one more or no?
Mr. McLean can explain what's going on with the other one.
Oh, number 13, 14, and 16. What's going on?
Let's go to, let's see, 13. Your Honor, I saw Mr. Moore today in intake area of the jail. He was not speak to the public defender. He was not willing to engage our services or participate in any form. Very little in the conversation. Basically, a no. So I don't have any basis to say that he is or is not competent. I don't have any basis to say that he is or is not mentally ill. Right now, he's just
Refusing
that
to
mode.
cooperate. So can we reset him till tomorrow and see what happens? Maybe you have a better day tomorrow. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor, although I would say that the facts of the case include this defendant riding his bicycle at the Atlanta International School after being criminally trespassed from the location for doing the same thing while naked. So just on its face, that would raise a concern for me, but.
So Mr. McLean, I don't know. Let's see what happens tomorrow is all I can say. But I guess you don't have a waiver, you don't have authority, he's not talking, so we need to see.
And I agree with what they said. It's just that I was on a field trip with somebody else. We call it a field trip when we go to other areas of the jail from the courtroom, and I was asked to meet him. I didn't have his police report at the time, but I see the point there about the inmate's concern.
Yes. All right, let's see what happens tomorrow. If not, I'm sure the judge tomorrow will deal with it as well. What's the next one? What's with 14, Angela Morrow?
Angela Morrow has, we talked to her yesterday in person. We talked to her today on the phone. I don't have authority to waive, Your Honor. I will put it this way. She is not cooperating with the jail staff in a way that's impossible for them to bring her to court. We also talked to Judge Morrow yesterday about her past history, and I think all the parties agree that we're going to have to spend a little bit of time getting another placement. So I would ask the court to consider, give us a few days to do that. I can't say that I have her permission to waive it. I would love for her to waive it, but at this point, she's not acting in a way that's competent to assist her counsel.
All right, Pat.
Good afternoon, Judge.
And I'm sorry to call you Pat, Miss Umberger.
Yes,
Drew.
yes, ma'am. I have a really great rapport with Miss Morrow. I
Mhm.
don't mind coming to the jail tomorrow and speaking with her about the importance of making these hearings and being able to speak with her counsel and figure this out, together. If that would be helpful.
We can reset it till tomorrow to give you time to do that.
That would be great. I'll go speak
Okay.
with her. Is she at
All right.
ACDC? Does
Mr.
anyone know?
McLean, is she at ACDC?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yes, she is at ACDC. That's the 8114 number. I can provide that to you.
Okay.
All
No,
right.
I'm gonna go in person.
She's gonna
Thank you.
go, yeah.
Sure.
All right, so state will reset her till tomorrow, see what Pat can do, if anything.
The concern the state has, Your Honor, is that she was reset from yesterday.
Oh, she was already reset, I didn't know.
Yes. There just needs to be, she needs to be appraised of her charges. I understand that there's a history with this young lady, and Judge Morrow is familiar with her and asked about when the next calendar is for her on the competency calendar. And so I guess
Right.
there's a concern on my part why we're not just going to go ahead and do that.
Well, we can do that, or
I think I talked with Mr. Patel's yesterday, and I think we all agree competency is going to be on the next. We need to put her on a competency calendar.
We're just concerned about the Riverside issue, Your Honor, and
right.
If we're all on the same page that this young lady doesn't need to be released, that she needs to be evaluated and made stable again, and that there were concerns previously about releasing her and allowing her to take care of this herself and utilize resources, and that hasn't worked. And so
Right.
that's why we were asking for a surety bond. And so the defense counsel can't waive her appearance at this point. They can waive Riverside.
Oh, I can waive Riverside, yeah, but I just can't.
We just need to make it clear on the record so that there aren't any issues that come up.
Correct.
I'll waive rights.
All right, you're gonna waive Riverside?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and then tomorrow we'll see about moving her to the competency calendar, or
I'd say let's go.
today? Are you gonna do it today?
Let's go ahead and schedule her now for the competency.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I still will go have conversations with her about being respectful and with jail
Okay.
staff. Yeah.
All right,
Thank
let's
you,
do
Ms.
that.
Umberger.
Prepare an
Thank you.
order, please. Yes. Ms. Bridgewater?
So with this order that you're about to prepare, I guess I need to know, are we gonna rehear her tomorrow, or what entails the order?
No, the order's moving, or go ahead, state. ASG Allen.
The order would be related to the waiver by the defense of the Riverside issue. There would be a bond order entered. The state's asking for $1,000 surety to stay away from the location. In this case, it's 80 Jesse Hill Drive Jr. That's the ER. She was asked multiple times by staff and public safety officers to leave. She was there and returning to the hospital over and over again, harassing patients and medical staff.
Okay, so you're gonna prepare the order and you will put all of that in the order for the judge to sign?
No, the defense is going to prepare their waiver of the Riverside issue, and the judge is
Okay.
going to issue a bond order.
Like
Okay,
normal,
And she's
like
going to
normal. Yeah.
there's going to be an order that this young lady go to the competency calendar.
okay, so
Right.
Mr. McLean. you're
I'll
gonna-
take one of my waiver of presence and arraignment orders and strike out certain words and put it in Riverside rights in their stead.
And you're gonna do that today?
Yes.
Okay.
She's coming to look for you. You heard the hint
Oh,
there
yeah.
today.
I wanted you all to hear it too.
Yes, it's being recorded.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
Thank
All
you. Mr.
right.
McLean.
We gotta-
Thank you,
And
Mr.
so
Allen.
we're going to, so for Ms. Bridgewater, for you, the $1,000 surety bond.
Okay, and to stay away from, I guess I normally put Grady Hospital unless seeking services. Is that good enough for now?
If you could put Grady Hospital, what's the address? Something Jesse Hill.
Yeah,
It's 80.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I just do that because they do have a few other clinics and things of that nature. So it's going to be a little clear when we know
Okay, no
exactly
problem.
where.
And that's
Uh-huh.
$1,000 good
And,
bond?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
and I think she's asking, and unless seeking services in there is a phrase,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
This is
add
for Ms.
that.
Morrow.
I'm sorry, yes.
This is for Ms.
I'll go
Morrow, right?
ahead and do that up, but in the meantime, Mr. McLean, I still need you to submit that.
Right.
Okay.
Excuse me, this case for Ms. Morrow, right?
Yes, for Miss Angela Morrow, position
Okay.
number 14.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are there any others? I believe there
think
was.
that's
Mr.
it.
Smith. What about Mr.
Well,
Smith?
Jason Smith was visited today in person by Jamal Harris, one of our social workers, and he
Mhm.
said an evaluation is needed, and I believe it may be underway. So I'm finding out more detail later on about whether the evaluation is underway, what level it is, but it's definitely determined that it's needed.
Okay, because he has been reset a few times too.
I think that's correct.
So
That is-
I think we're in the same posture here. He was reset from the 9th.
Mhm.
Yesterday, the announcement was that he created a safety issue because he was combative.
Mm-hmm.
And so we certainly don't want anyone to be in danger, but he needs to be appraised of his rights, or the defense needs to waive Riverside if there is an evaluation that is needed or ongoing and the social worker has made a visit. We would just ask that be the determination of the court, that this case probably needs to go either to SAP or to the competency calendar.
Right.
Right. I would think the competency calendar pending the evaluation results.
And so we're asking for $1,000 surety, Your Honor. This is a public indecency case related to being in the grass at the BP gas station on Main Street in East Point.
Okay.
And so we'd ask for a stay away from that location. It's 2139 Main Street.
And so this one we're doing about the same as the other.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give us a waiver, PD McLean of Riverside. Then
Okay.
We'll do what was the amount again, ASG Allen?
It's one count of public indecency. We just ask for $1,000 surety. We're just concerned about making sure he gets access to the correct evaluation and on the right track.
Right. Okay. Same thing, Ms. Bridgewater.
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to think, are there any others?
Let's see, on this calendar, probably not.
Did we, I'm sorry, I may have missed it. Was there an announcement on position 8?
Hold on a second, PD Cut. Let us
I'm
make
sorry.
sure we're finished with Mr. Smith.
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Smith, yes. So is that it for 16?
That's it.
Okay, making sure.
And in reference to your question, Mr. Cook, that person on position 8 was released.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
confirmed
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Are there any others?
Nope, I think that's it. We're ready to reconcile?
I believe we are. All right, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is September the 24th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 3, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 4 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. 6 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,500 good bond. 7, the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 8 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,800 good bond. 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 11, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 12, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13 is being reset till tomorrow. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 15 is going to the SAP calendar with a $4,000 good bond. That's $1,000 on each charge. 16 is reset. No, it's going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 17 SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 18 SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 19 SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. And for our add-on calendar, it's a total of a $6,000 good bond being reset to the SAP calendar. Are there any-
Yeah, what's 17 again? The amount?
On 17
2.
is
2,000 good.
Yeah, it should be 2,000 good.
And y'all gave Morrow a
$2,000
bond,
good
right?
bond. Huh?
And you all did give Morrow a bond?
Yes, we did
Yes.
$1,000
Okay.
good bond.
Just making sure.
Right.
And I'm sorry I didn't have my camera on, but you all get it, right? Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Who is
just
this,
have to do it all
Lottie,
over.
Lottie Greer? Lottie Greer is still on?
That's the one with all the chart. Yeah, I see that. That was the $1,800, wasn't it?
No, there's a person.
Yeah, I see her, but she was here for position number 9 for Eric Greer, I'm assuming. Miss Lottie?
And I should have paid attention to that before we started our reconciliation, but okay. Did you get the information, Ms. Greer, on, is it your son maybe? On the case?
No, I didn't.
All
Okay,
righty.
Eric Greer is your son?
Yes, he is.
Okay, ma'am, he got an $1,800 total good bond.
Surety, but yeah.
If he doesn't make bond, he will come back to court on September the 24th.
Okay.
Okay, did you have any other questions?
No, not really.
Okay.
Thank you. You can
Thank
sign
you.
off now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
In number 19, what was the level of the no contact?
On position 19, that level, let me turn the pages. 19, I show that that's a good bond going to the SAP
No,
calendar.
He has
Right.
about contact, no further violent contact is what I have.
No further violent contact with Stacy Sanders.
Okay, thank
No.
you.
Yeah, and I'm showing that that's going to the SAP calendar and he's not out on pretrial or through the jail, so it's not a level.
Right.
You look puzzled, Mr. McLean.
I know.
No, I meant the term level in the general sense, the
Okay,
level
no
of
problem.
contact.
Level of contact.
That's
Okay,
his
yeah,
normal
no
level.
further violent contact.
Right, gotcha.
Okay.
All
Are there
right.
any others?
All minds are clear. Thank you, everybody. See you next
Thank you.
time.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.